Hey, just wanted to say I was sorry I didn't get a chance to post on Sunday. There was a death in the family on my wife's side and I was unable to make that second video. Sorry about that. I did get one up. Thank you for understanding. Massive rally today. Escalation day rally as predicted. Dow up 1,161 points, 2.81%. The S&P was up 3.25%, up 184 points. NASDAQ up 4.35%. The Russell nearly 3.5%. The VIX dropping 16%. This is predicting that in the next two trading sessions, we'll have a down day for a sell-off or put in a top and start a reversal. That's what it's predicting based on the historical data. Okay, the S&P rallied right into the 78.6 Fibonacci of the entire decline, which again, we were told wasn't going to happen. We were told, remember down here at the bottom, told we were about to have a Black Monday style crash. It was a 25% crash in one day, the 7 Black Monday. We bottomed. Historic rally, the historic winning streak, the best winning streak in 20 years. All the way up, the bears telling us it's over. Down here it was over. Then we got the rally. And then it was over with this bar right here. That was over. And then we rallied up some more, and that didn't happen. And we rallied up some more, and then it was over here. And then we bottomed, got a higher low. It was over. And again, then we rallied up, gapped higher. We got the topping tail. It was over. And then we cleared, came up to the trend line, the 50% retracement, and hit the level from the previous low right here. It was over. And then we broke out. It was over. And then we got the doji. It was over. A bad CPI number. Fed missed the mark by 2.4%. It was over. And I told you I'd be watching for a back test. I was right. And then we got this candlestick and we got the topping tail at the 61.8 Fibonacci. It was over. And we rallied higher, got above the 50 period here. Oh, it's over. These dojis, and we started to turn down, and we started to turn down a little bit. Oh, it's over. People that told us a rally was never going to happen and that we were going to crash at the bottom. It's over all the way up. Down here, we're bottoming. Down here, we're going to get a rally back up to the 200 period. Fibonacci retracement. What has happened? Oh, we had a rally back up to the 200 period. And we're moving up to the Fibonacci retracements. Now we're at the 78.6 Fibonacci. Rallied 21% from this low. We sold off 21% from this high right here. 21.38%. We've now rallied up 21% from the higher low that we were told it was over. They're selling off to that historical reversal because of the tariffs on the day of the launch. We've now rallied nearly 15% from that move right there. I tell you down here, the bears would be yelling. What would they be yelling? Bear market rally. Counter trend rally. They've been saying it all the way up. I was correct about the bottom. I was correct about the rally. 21% now. Correct about the move to the 200 period moving average right now that the bears are telling us it's over yet again. Bear market rally. Tariffs right, bottom and rally prediction right. At some point we're going to pull back. And again, you can get a right shoulder. You might get a deeper pullback. Have a kind of a balanced pattern. Be more of a shallow pullback. And then eventually we're going to get the 50 curling up and start moving back above that 200 period. We're catching up to Bitcoin. Okay? In the 78.6 Fibonacci, do you see this? Entire decline, and we're hitting the upper Bollinger Band. We may dance around here. We've got the inflation data coming in, and then we've got Powell coming on Thursday to be speaking during the market session. We're likely going to, remember I told you, a wave 5 to complete minor wave 1, and then a pullback for wave 2, and wave 2 could be shallow, it could be deeper. Got a shot at an inverse head and shoulders with a neckline that's sloping higher now. We go higher, like I said, don't end up forming the pattern. That's certainly possible. Marked it here with the red, the left shoulder, the head formation, and possibly right shoulder. Or maybe we go a little higher above the upper band and then pull back, and we'll be watching. Looking at the Fibonacci retracements once we peak. But everything I've told you has happened. Everything the bears told us was going to happen, the complete opposite has happened. The media told us surrounding the tariffs was going to happen. The complete opposite has happened. Proven correct once again. The media told us this wasn't going to happen. Bears told us this wasn't going to happen. The herd Bottom told us it's going to happen. Told you it would happen. I tell you things before they happen. I've been 100% right about the tariffs. Just cuts. Tariffs on Chinese goods from 145% down to 30%, lowering it by 115%. China did the same thing. Tariffs on U.S. goods from 125% down to 10%. 90-day pause for negotiations. This is de-escalation day. I've been predicting this. There's no way it was going to happen. We get a rally of hope. We got the rally of hope. They get a pullback and go on and make new all-time highs. He told us we were just going to get the tariffs, and the bear said the same thing. We're just going to get the tariffs. That's it, and the economy is just going to collapse. I told you the tariffs were going to end up getting paused and reduced, or both, and that's what happened. Said we're going to get retaliatory tariffs and have this massive trade war. Didn't happen. Retaliatory tariffs were paused except for China. We got this deal. The media told us nobody's going to negotiate. Have this massive trade war. Tariffs were paused. Retaliatory tariffs delayed. And what do we have? Countries lining up to negotiate. Everything I told you has happened. It's happened exactly how I said it would play out. Raised tariffs. I told you there would be a de-escalation day coming. Rally of hope. We get a bottom, a rally of hope going into that. Up to the 200 period moving average on the S&P and NASDAQ. Oh, what happened? Exactly that. Anybody that told us this wasn't going to happen, and it was the majority media, the herd, the bears, understand economics. It's because the media is not reporting on what's going on over there in China, but their economy is falling off the rails. They've got economic data that they won't even report because it's so bad. Oh, they had positive. Somebody told me, oh, they had great GDP. They had negative GDP. I don't know if you know this, but they lie about their numbers. They've done this for years. I've been watching the economic data for decades. So again, take a victory lap because again, dart after dart thrown at me for saying that China was going to come to the negotiating table. We'd have de-escalation day and we'd have official negotiations announced. I was correct on all of it. Media got it 100% wrong. The bears got it 100% wrong. And the herd was wrong. Absolutely incredible. And, to see other trade deals announced. And we were told that wasn't going to happen. And we've already got one with the U.K. Now we've got this trade deal for de-escalation with China. We get this last week, we get the U.S. U.K. Trade deal. There are people that told us it would never, ever happen. Yeah. The bears, well, media is now telling us what a horrible deal it is. These are the people that told us it was never going to happen, that never saw it coming. Incredible. The same thing with the China deal today. Tell us that we're moving into the next Great Depression. I've never seen anything like this. This is absolutely incredible. To convince us we're moving into a depression. We're going to have a recession, but these people in the media convince us we're going into the next Great Depression. And everything with tariffs, completely 100% wrong. Everything they've said, the opposite has happened. And here, now we have China come into the negotiating table, de-escalation day happening. Everything I've told you has happened, 100% accurate. The opposite of what the media told us would happen. Absolutely incredible. I actually think the deal between the U.S. and the U.K. is a good deal. It's opening markets in the U.K. to the U.S. Markets have been closed. So again, I think it's actually a decent deal. Tomorrow we're going to get the inflation data. Every year is supposed to come in at 2.4. That's what it was previously. The core is supposed to be at 3%, or I'm sorry, it's 0.3% for the month over month. The core year over year supposed to hold steady at 2.8. So it's supposed to come in the same as it was previously. It's dropped back down. We'll see inflation begin to tick back up. Usually that's what happens before the recession hits, which again, likely coming later in the year. We'll get the PPI wholesale inflation on Thursday, and that very same day, that's wholesale inflation. We'll get Fed Chair Powell speaking during the market session. Probability is decreasing for more rate cuts as trade tensions begin to ease, as, again, I told you would happen. We're seeing yields climb higher on hope that a recession will be avoided. We get this deal that the media told us wasn't going to happen. Remember at the bottom, Cramer was predicting we were going to have a Black Monday crash. Everybody started echoing that. The herd, the bears were pulling down on what Cramer was saying. Cramer, leading the herd, a week and a half ago, has now flipped back and said, oh, we're not going to have a recession. No recession. He was telling us we were going to have a Black Monday crash, ugly recession. It was over. was saying that at the top, only at the bottom. That's what the herd does. The herd is now going to eventually start to flip and follow and repeat what Cramer is saying, that we're going to dodge a recession. Go higher, you're going to start and make new highs. In my opinion, the S&P and NASDAQ will do that. I see more and more of a narrative that we've avoided a recession. A 3-month delay here on China, that buys us time to go to new highs. Later in the summer or on into the early fall, we'll have tensions in the Middle East heat up. There'll be concerns about a regional war as US and Israel deal with the nuclear threat, Iran's nuclear threat. I believe that will happen in the summer or the fall. Other things coming down the pipe, but this opens the door, just as I've been warning you. Everything's playing out just as I said. When we go to new highs, the bears will throw in the towel. The herd will become extremely bullish. Sentiment is changing. We're already seeing it begin to change. The fear-greed index move back up to greed levels again. Things happening exactly as I said it would. Pull back at some point. Bond market and they're all gonna eventually to come to the conclusion we've dodged a recession. These are the people that told us we're going to have a soft landing. These are the people that laughed. Anybody that believed that a recession would happen. And I told you this was the fake out for herd, for the bears, and then we're going to get the real crash after we go make new highs with the final phase of the blow off top. And what's NASDAQ doing? And again, S&P jumped above the 200. NASDAQ jumping above the 200 period, the black line. And you'll have to excuse me, I have a little cold. NASDAQ, again, jumping above the 50, jumping above the 200. To what? The 78.6 Fibonacci of the entire decline. We ended up dropping 25.5% from the February 19th high down to the low on April 7th. At that time, the tariffs were likely going to be a sell the rumor buy the news event, and we'd likely bottom with the tariffs. That was correct. Buddy telling us we're going to have this crash, repeating what Cramer's saying, and it marked the bottom. We had a historic rally of 12% in one day. But again, the rebound back up off of that 25.5% drop. We've now risen 26.31%. Back up to the Bollinger Bands here. Again, be watching the Bollinger Bands. Dance around here, but again, now we have another gap to be watching today. We could come back towards our key period for a test. Have, again, the right shoulder if we have a neckline that is sloping higher, or if we go higher, still in play. We go a little bit higher. The pattern may not set up, but it's still a possibility here. But we're at these 78.6 Fibonacci's. Getting the rally we were told that we were not going to have. Getting likely completing of minor wave 1, unless this is an extended wave 3, big extended wave 3, it's more likely you're completing the first minor wave. The rally we were told we were not going to have, China deal, the U.S.-China deal that we were told would never happen. Absolutely incredible. I told you it was all going to happen, but nobody believed it would happen. I posted stuff about the China de-escalation, got called all kinds of names, told it would never, ever happen, and gee, here it is. It happened. I was right. Absolutely incredible. It's incredible how people are so willing to believe whatever they are told to think. It's incredible. Everything I've told you with the tariffs, with this rally, with this bottom has played out. Again, you have a three-leg push down with the S&P and NASDAQ. Bottom support levels is likely in, as I keep saying, throughout the entire rally. Got to do is look at Bitcoin. Here are the highs. The market's eventually going to join it, although I think Bitcoin is setting up for a pullback. You can see my latest Bitcoin video at the end of this one. It's been nailing it on Bitcoin. S&P is above the cloud now, above the 200. It could be that we pull back, and if you do have an inverse head and shoulders here at a little bit higher levels, even if you don't set the pattern up, you could end up pulling back and getting this right shoulder the cloud, and as the moving averages are about to get a bullish realignment, the 10's already gotten above the 50, and I have this trend line drawn here. Let me move it so you can see. The 10 has gotten above the 50, the red line's the 10, the 50 is the green line. You're about to get the 20. We'll likely pull back towards those moving averages. If we get the bullish alignment of the moving averages, likely the bullish alignment, get some kind of pullback, and then go on our way to challenge the highs. If this is minor wave 1, then we'll get minor wave 2. It could still be that it is an extended wave 3, When an extended wave 3 is done, then we get 4 and 5. The whole thing could be an extended wave 3 rather than a 5-leg push higher. Showing you on the 60-minute chart. CD is in positive territory, powerful move higher. RSI is above 50, and again, you're going to get that 50 back above the 200. Again, the death cross likely marked the bottom. As I've continued to say, this is an ABC move in my opinion, which is corrective. That's why I believe we're going to go make new highs, and I think in 3 or 4 months we're going to top. What did Trump just do? Pause the typical tariffs, reduced the tariffs by 115%. Both China did it with the retaliatory tariffs. It's paused for what, 90 days, 3 months. Could see more issues later on. You're going to start seeing a lot of deals coming down the pike. Actually, I think in the summer or on into the fall, you're going to see tensions in the Middle East and concerns about a regional war or World War III as the U.S. and Israel likely partner to deal with Iran's nuclear threat. Going to happen. Markets are going to get rattled by that. I'm telling you, it's coming. There are issues. Another banking crisis. The market's going to begin to price in recession, but these things are coming. You're going to get a rally for about 3 or 4 months, and then it's going to end, and it's going to mark a top. Probably be into July or to September. I'm leaning towards a peak in August or September. The cloud turning green into the future. Everything I've told you is now happening. A bullish realignment. Again, you'll probably get a pullback at some point. Posted this chart today on X, formerly known as Twitter. Again, I've talked about this. Again, inverse head and shoulders pattern with this potential rising wedge. When we are pulling back, here we pull back with the GDP. With this pullback, I told you we were finding support at our 50 period in our cloud. Again, I think you're getting this 1, 2, 3 kind of a move. And maybe, again, this ends just a little bit higher. We'll get the GDP. See if we sell off on Powell later in the week or peak with Powell or something. But possibility of an inverse head and shoulders. Could see something deeper here. Possible. Still watching this possible inverse head and shoulders as I was talking about. I think we have minor wave 1 likely coming to a conclusion. And now, again, I could be wrong on that. A wave of speculation. This whole thing could be an extended wave 3 if we continue to go. My guess is this pattern has a pretty good shot at playing out. We'll see what happens. You've got negative diversion setting up again on the RSI and MACD down here in the 60-minute time frame. So again, we'll be watching again the bearish count for a 5-leg push lower. It's been invalidated with the push above this level. I keep saying that. Bears are saying, "Oh no, things wave." Well, that's still a corrected pattern. It still means you're going to new highs. My guess is we're going to new highs right now, and then I think that will be the peak. You see those highs once we get the final blow off top for a very, very long time. That's what valuations tell us. But this count that I have been posting here and showing you, it's playing out beautifully. Bitcoin's got the same. If you want to see my L8 wave counts on Bitcoin, go watch my Bitcoin videos. For the L8 wave count, my Bitcoin weekend update, I think they're both forming minor wave 1. The S&P, the NASDAQ, and Bitcoin. Drew this out. This is what I think is going on. Gee, coming pretty close. We may go past this a little bit, but this is what I drew out. Wave 1, wave 2, and then we get the extended wave 3 to new highs, and then we go on. We'll move it over here so you can see it. We go on and we get a 5-leg push higher that ends up completing the cycle top. 5 minor waves to complete intermediate wave 5 to complete primary wave 5 to complete the cycle top. That's what I think is going on. That's going to be proven to be correct. I think we've completed an ABC move to complete intermediate wave 4. I think we get intermediate wave 5, and then I think you top around in the summer or the fall. It's getting back above 50. Get a pullback though. MACD, bullish cross soon. Get a pullback and get a bullish cross. Bitcoin is getting one in its weekly time frame. Just above our 20-week moving average. Got above the 50. Again, I told you to be watching the 20-week moving averages. Still likely to see some kind of pullback, but I remain bullish. NASDAQ 100 up 4% today, up 807 points, rounding up. Again, RSI holding above 50, still trying to make new recent highs. Here we get this candlestick. Again, possible hanging man candlestick above the cloud. You could pull back to it now. You got the green cloud into the future. And again, if we pull back, maybe we're done here with the wave 5 and we pull back and get a right shoulder, or something maybe a little deeper. Still possible we go a little higher. We'll be watching. Still off with the CPI data tomorrow and later with Powell? Or again, do we rally further at the rally that I've been predicting? Still possible inverse head and shoulders here, so we'll be watching that. RSI positive, MACD in positive territory. We do have divergences that are trying to form or starting to possibly form on the histogram and the stochastic. So we'll be watching to see what happens surrounding the inflation data and Powell later in the week. We still have earnings, and although a lot of them have already been reported. But NASDAQ and S&P are clearing the clouds now. So again, positive sign. Of the 100 period moving average, positive sign. We're clearing the 200 period, positive sign. We'll probably pull back at some point, either go higher, pull back, or do it right here and now. We're going to get some kind of pullback, and the bears are going to go, see, here comes the crash again. And we'll likely see another higher low be established. Again, as the 10 has gotten above the 20 or the 50, now the 20 is about to get above the 50 in a bullish realignment. You're likely going to pull back to the moving averages at some point. Eventually, the 50 will get back above the 200 as it begins to curl back up. It's starting to flatten out here, flatten out now on NASDAQ. Same thing here. Again, do we have this 5-leg push higher now coming to a conclusion, or maybe a little bit higher? But again, I've marked 5-leg push higher. Do we pull back and get a right shoulder or something maybe a little deeper, maybe towards the 200 period or something? Got these possible inverse head and shoulder patterns. Drew this trend line before we ever reached it, and here we are reaching it. So again, not to say we can't go a little higher, but again, does this pattern possibly set up? Maybe. We're coming back and filling these gaps up here that we talked about, and again, you're told that wasn't going to happen. It has happened. But a possible hanging man here today, we'll be watching that here on NASDAQ. Now the NASDAQ's clearing the trend line that I told you, again, to be watching this trend line to see if we back test it, and the 20-week moving average. We're getting above both of those levels. Told you we can overthrow them, stay above them if we get something bigger, or overthrow them and then pull back too. This is what I think is going on with the L8 wave count. Actually, I think that takes us into August or September for a top, but I think you're going to come hit this trend line on the NASDAQ, finish the final blow off top. Again, same thing here. The MACD is trying to curl back up. Pull back first and then get that later, or do we get it right here and now? We'll see. Do we hold above the 20-week, or do we drop back below it? But the rally I told you would happen has happened. Point, you're going to get a pullback. Support the channel with the link directly below that allows me to be able to provide you this information. If you like the charts, you like the indicators, please let me know that by supporting the channel today. I'll have a link below to take you to a secured site, and you can donate any amount you want or make it a recurring donation. I thank you for your consideration for that.